The observation deck of the Stellar Accord had fallen into an uneasy silence. Ambassador Zixthara of the Vrelnian Confederacy stood frozen, her 6 compound eyes widening in what her species expressed as pure terror. Beside her, the insectoid diplomat from Chiton Prime had already backed against the far wall, mandibles clicking in distress. "Should we intervene?" whispered Commander Jolak, his scaled hand hovering over the emergency communication panel. "Do not move," Zixthara hissed, her translator barely functioning through her panic. Any sudden action could trigger their hunting instincts. In the center of the recreational area, Orla sat cross-legged on a cushioned mat, a battered paperback novel held casually in her hands. Her red hair caught the artificial light as she turned a page, completely absorbed in her book. This wasn't the alarming part. The alarming part was the 2 Karvesh, cubs that had escaped their secure diplomatic quarters and were now prowling toward Karvesh, the apex predators of the Outer Rim, a species so feared that 3 civilizations had gone extinct simply from sharing a star system with their hunting fleets. Adults stood 9 feet tall, possessed retractable claws that could shred titanium plating, and had never, in recorded history, shown mercy to another sentient species. These cubs were merely 4 feet tall. Their midnight black fur rippled over corded muscle. Their eyes gleamed with predatory intelligence, and their claws, though smaller, had already left score marks on the deck plating as they approached. "The human doesn't see them," Jolak breathed. "She's going to die and she doesn't even know." He stopped mid-sentence. The first cub had reached Orla. It circled her once, sniffing audibly. Then, with movements that should have been impossible for a creature built for killing, it gently, almost tentatively, climbed onto her lap. Orla glanced down. The assembled aliens held their breath. "Hey there," she said softly, then returned to her book. The second cub, apparently not wanting to be left out, clambered up on her other side, draping itself partially across her knees. Together, the 2 juvenile apex predators, each capable of killing an armed soldier, settled in like house cats seeking warmth. Orla turned another page. "I don't understand," Zixthara whispered. "This violates every biological principle. The Karvesh are obligate carnivores. They're territorial. She's reading," Jolak interrupted, his voice filled with something between awe and disbelief. "There are 2 Karvesh cubs in her lap and she's just reading." James chose that moment to enter the observation deck, carrying 2 cups of coffee. He took in the scene, the terrified aliens pressed against the walls, his colleague sitting calmly with 2 predator cubs draped across her, and simply sighed. "Orla, did you steal the ambassador's kids again?" "I didn't steal them," Orla replied without looking up from her book. "They got out. I'm just keeping them company until someone notices." "We noticed," Zixthara managed to say, her voice trembling. "We noticed immediately. We thought you were about to be torn apart." James walked over, seemingly unbothered by the cub's presence, and handed Orla her coffee. One of the cubs sniffed at the cup curiously, and she gently guided its nose away. "Too hot for you, buddy. You have to understand," James said, addressing the gathered aliens while Orla continued reading. "Humans come from a death world, Earth. We evolved alongside predators much larger than us. Saber-toothed cats, cave bears, wolves. Our ancestors survived by understanding predator behavior, not just running from it." "But the Karvesh," Jolak started. "Our cubs," Orla interjected, finally looking up. Young, curious, and probably bored in their quarters. "Look at them." She scratched behind one cub's ear equivalent and it made a rumbling sound that might have been purring. "They're not hunting. They're exploring. There's a difference." The Karvesh ambassador herself arrived moments later, moving with the deadly grace her species was known for. The gathered aliens flinched. The human pair didn't even blink. "I apologize," the ambassador growled, her voice like grinding stone. "My offspring have caused—" She stopped, seeing her cubs nestled contentedly in Orla's lap. "What sorcery is this?" "No sorcery," Orla said, gently lifting one cub and handing it to its mother. "Just patience. They're good kids. Very polite, actually. This one," she indicated the second cub, "almost knocked over my coffee but caught himself. Smart little guy." The ambassador took her second offspring, staring at Orla with an expression the translator couldn't quite capture. In 300 cycles, no other species has dared touch a Karvesh cub. Most assume we would kill them for the attempt. Would you have? James asked conversationally. Yes, the ambassador replied honestly. Then after a pause, but not you. You treated them as children, not weapons. This is unusual. Orla shrugged, returning to her book. On Earth we have a saying, don't judge a book by its cover. Works for species too, I guess. After the ambassador left with her cubs, the other aliens slowly approached James. How? Zixthara asked simply. How can your species remain so calm? James smiled. Humans learned a long time ago that the most dangerous predators aren't always the ones with the biggest claws. Sometimes they're the ones who understand exactly when not to be afraid. Orla knew those cubs weren't hunting. She recognized playful curiosity when she saw it. But the risk was minimal, Orla called out, not looking up from her book. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm at the good part. James raised his coffee cup in a mock toast to the bewildered aliens. Welcome to humanity. We domesticated wolves and made them into puppies. A couple of alien cubs? That's just Tuesday. The aliens exchanged glances, each coming to the same unsettling realization. Perhaps the reason humans had survived so many first contact scenarios wasn't despite their relationship with predators. It was because of it.